This is the High Voltage Business Builders Podcast, daily intelligence for serious e-commerce portfolio builders across Amazon, TikTok Shop, Shopify, Walmart, and every channel that moves the needle. Neil Twa and his Voltage team all day, every day since 2012. Let's get into it.
Here's a number that should stop every multi-channel seller cold. Amazon controls roughly 38% of all U.S. e-commerce sales. That kind of market dominance doesn't just shape buyer behavior, it shapes what you're allowed to do with your own pricing across every other platform you sell on. And right now, the state of California is in court, arguing that Amazon has been using that dominance as a weapon against sellers like you. If you're running a Shopify store alongside your Amazon listings, if you're testing Walmart Marketplace, if you've ever tried to run a sale on your own website, this case is directly about your business. California's Attorney General alleges that Amazon has been pressuring sellers to keep their prices on competing channels at or above their Amazon prices, not through a written mandate, but through a system of penalties, suppressed listings, reduced visibility, and the ever-present threat of losing the buy box if your product appears cheaper somewhere else. For a seller doing $15,000 a month across 2 or 3 channels, that pressure is existential. You can't run a meaningful promotion on your own DTC site. You can't test lower price points on Walmart to build volume there. You're effectively locked into Amazon's pricing floor, not by law, but by economic consequence. For a larger operator running a multi-brand portfolio, the implications compound fast. Margin strategy, channel diversification, promotional calendars, all of it gets constrained when one platform can functionally dictate your pricing everywhere else. A preliminary injunction hearing is underway right now. The outcome could fundamentally change how multi-channel selling works in America. So the question every builder needs to answer today is this: if Amazon's pricing grip loosens or tightens, is your business structured to respond?
Let's get into what's actually happening here, because the legal mechanics matter for how you think about your business, not just how lawyers think about the case. California's lawsuit centers on what antitrust law calls most favored nation clauses, or MFN provisions. In plain language, an MFN clause means whatever price you give anyone else, you have to give me the same or better. Amazon's version isn't written into a formal contract most sellers sign. It's embedded in the buy box algorithm and the seller performance standards. If Amazon detects, or even suspects, that your product is available at a lower price on another platform, your listing can be suppressed, your buy box eligibility can be revoked, and your organic ranking can drop. The penalty is algorithmic, not contractual, but the effect is the same. For a seller spending $2,000 a month on sponsored products ads, losing the buy box doesn't just hurt organic sales, it tanks your ad efficiency immediately. You're paying for clicks that convert at a fraction of the rate they would with the buy box. That's a real cash flow hit that shows up in your account within days. The insight here is that Amazon has built a pricing enforcement mechanism that operates without ever explicitly telling you what to do. You're not signing a price-fixing agreement. You're just learning through painful trial and error that cheaper prices elsewhere cost you on Amazon. That's the behavior California is calling anti-competitive. The preliminary injunction hearing is significant because if a judge agrees there's enough merit to pause Amazon's enforcement of these practices while the case proceeds, it could open a window, potentially months, where multi-channel pricing strategy operates under different rules. That window is something every serious seller should be thinking about right now.
Let's make this concrete with 2 sellers who are already living this tension. First, meet a composite we'll call Marcus, a real-world archetype you've probably seen or been. Marcus sells premium kitchen tools on Amazon, pulling in about $40,000 a month in revenue. He launched a Shopify store 18 months ago to build a direct customer relationship and stop paying Amazon's referral fees on every sale. His plan was simple: run occasional 15% off promotions on his Shopify site to incentivize direct purchases and email list growth. Within 3 weeks of his first Shopify promotion, Marcus noticed his Amazon buy box disappearing on his top 3 SKUs. Amazon's pricing bots had flagged the discrepancy. He raised his Shopify prices back to match Amazon. Buy box returned. His DTC growth strategy was effectively dead. He's now paying Amazon's fees on 94% of his revenue because he can't afford to lose the buy box visibility. That's the everyday seller version of this problem. It's not abstract antitrust theory. It's a broken growth strategy and a margin leak that compounds every month. Now scale it up.
a mid-sized brand operating across Amazon, Walmart, and their own DTC site at roughly $800,000 a month in combined revenue, has a dedicated ops team that manually monitors price parity across channels. They've built internal tooling to detect when any channel drifts below Amazon's floor price, and they correct it within hours. That's overhead, real headcount, real cost that exists entirely because of Amazon's pricing enforcement behavior. They estimated cost them $60,000 a year in operational expense just to stay compliant with a policy that was never formally written down. This is what sellers who survive platform pressure do differently. They stop reacting and start building systems, but they shouldn't have to build those systems around an invisible policy in the first place. That's exactly what California is arguing.
3 moves, every seller, every level, starting today. Move 1. Audit your cross-channel pricing exposure right now. Pull up every platform where your products are listed: Amazon, Walmart, your own site, any retail partners. Document the price on each channel for your top 10 SKUs. If anything is lower than your Amazon price, you're already at risk of suppression, whether or not you knew it. For a seller doing $10K a month, this is a 30-minute spreadsheet exercise. For a larger operator, this should be a weekly automated report. You cannot manage what you haven't mapped. Move 2. Separate your promotional strategy by channel, carefully. The instinct to run DTC promotions is correct. Building a direct customer relationship matters. But right now, if you discount on your own site, you need a mechanism to protect Amazon parity, whether that's a members-only pricing structure, a bundle that doesn't exist on Amazon, or a loyalty program that delivers value without changing the listed price. Small sellers use Shopify's discount codes for logged-in customers only. Larger operators build SKU-level variation strategies that give you pricing flexibility without triggering Amazon's bots. Move 3. Watch this case and build contingency scenarios. If the preliminary injunction is granted, Amazon may be temporarily restricted from penalizing sellers for lower prices elsewhere. That's a window. Have a plan for what you'd do with pricing flexibility, which channels you'd prioritize, what promotions you'd run, how you'd capture customer data before the window potentially closes. Sellers who have a plan ready move in week 1. Sellers without a plan watch the opportunity pass. The same legal event hits differently at every scale. What matters is that you're not caught flat-footed at any of them.
What this case ultimately represents is something bigger than one lawsuit. It's a stress test of the multi-channel model that thousands of Amazon sellers have been building toward. The idea that you can diversify revenue, own customer relationships, and not be permanently dependent on a single platform's algorithm for your livelihood. California is arguing in court that Amazon has been making that diversification artificially harder. Whether the court agrees or not, the underlying strategic challenge is real, and it's yours to solve. If you're a seller just getting started, this episode is a preview of the decisions you'll face as you scale. Understanding platform leverage now, before you're dependent on it, is one of the most valuable things you can do. If you're a mid-level operator at $30K, $50K, or $80K a month, your multi-channel strategy is either your greatest asset or your greatest vulnerability right now. And if you're running a larger portfolio, your pricing architecture and channel diversification plan needs to be stress-tested against exactly this kind of platform risk. This is the kind of strategic intelligence Voltage has been navigating for 13 years. Not theory, operator-led, in the market, building and running real e-commerce businesses at every scale. When the rules of the game shift, the sellers who have experienced guidance move faster and make fewer expensive mistakes. If you want to talk through how your specific business is positioned in a multi-channel environment and whether your pricing structure is working for you or quietly working against you, the Voltage team is the place to start. 13 years of operator experience doesn't just tell you what's happening, it tells you what to do next. Stay plugged in, stay building, and we'll see you in the next episode of the High Voltage Business Builders podcast.
That's a wrap on today's episode. If something we covered today sparked an idea or made you wonder where you actually fit in the e-commerce landscape, there's a good place to start. Head over to voltagedm.com/discover, answer a few questions, and we'll point you toward the right path for where you are right now. We'll be back tomorrow with another edge. Until then, stay high voltage.